and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Thursdays. That means we've got a list of 13 things. Today our list
13,
is...
yes.
Go ahead and tell the people what our
The
list
Key
is
and Peele
today.
All-Stars. The Key and
There
Peele
you go.
All-Stars for the NFL Draft. That's what they are. The Key and Peele All-Stars for the NFL Draft.
Sponsored, not
One
sponsored,
for each-
officially sponsored. The unofficial,
One
not
for each
sponsored.
presenter. All right. Sponsored by,
Nobody.
let's see, what do we got here? Sponsored by Moses Malone, who is
Yeah,
no longer with us. He's haunting my little bobblehead doll and entertaining me in the sleep because his head never stops moving. It's a perfectly balanced bobblehead, never stops moving. There's hours of entertainment. Anyway,
we also have some general news
Bobblehead.
stories for today as well.
we can't afford real friends.
This is the first and only international game show Before Coffee, a father and daughter news podcast where we look up our stories right before the show. We just got caffeine in our bodies and we're learning to speak and read live on stream. Let's get into those Thursday 13 lists and headlines and spin that segue wheel.
That's a little art I do. I'm not really an artist, but
Today on Thursdays 13. EU Parliament votes through measures allowing deportation of migrants to return hubs.
and be all you can be at the age of 42 as the Army raises the enlistment age to 42 and basically lowering their standards. Plus, Trump's Department of Justice shredded a whole bunch of crap right after Epstein died, which is illegal.
In more news from the EU, they target Snapchat over child safety and accuses porn sites of failing to block minors.
And on Thursday 13, we're going to talk about football. We got the NFL Draft coming up in a month, and we have the Key and Peele All-Stars of names, the all-name team.
In my culture news, Dutch skeleton discovery could be the real remains of the French musketeer d'Artagnan, which is the person who basically influenced the Three Musketeers story and characters.
And it's National Spinach Day. Yeah, Papa, it's your day. You're strong to the finish because you eat your spinach. I'm Papa the Sailor Man. Anyway, March 26, 2026, on Before Coffee. Can't do it. Always
Is
have
that,
to do this. Like that. You gotta do this. Like that.
maybe that is how they did it in the studio too.
Yeah, right? I think freaking there's lots of comedians that can do it. I think Robin Williams did pretty good. He also did a pretty good Elmer Fudd. Everybody does.
Oh yeah, Robin Williams was a genius when it came to that kind of stuff. That's why he was such a
Robin
great voice
Williams
actor as well.
Elmer Fudd. That's a Willie big problem.
All right, let's roll our segue wheel for this first story from the EU.
I'm gonna do Elmer Fudd reading the news today again. Because Pen, what do we spend?
Accurate metaphor or simile? This first story, so my mic is facing it over there. This first story is coming out of the EU, and it's about return hubs for migrants. This is on Le Monde with AFP. MEPs voted 389 to 206, which is a pretty big majority, on the package of tougher immigration measures, which includes harsher penalties for migrants who refuse to leave and allows hubs to be opened outside the EU to which unsuccessful asylum applicants can be deported. Yay! More anti-immigrant shit! European lawmakers cleared the way on Thursday, March 26th, for tougher penalties for irregular migrants and the potential deportation to so-called return hubs outside the bloc. The European Parliament approved the package with the support from center-right and far-right groups. Are we surprised? No. In a 389 to 206 vote in Brussels, this brings the measures a step closer to a final approval. EU member states gave their green light to the package, first proposed by the European Commission last year in December. The measures, which have been criticized by human rights groups and anybody who sees other human beings as human beings, are part of broader measures to toughen up Europe's immigration rules in the response to pressure across the 27-nation bloc to curb migration. The reform would notably allow for the opening of centers or return hubs outside the EU's borders to which migrants whose asylum applications have been rejected would be sent. It also envisages harsher penalties for migrants who refuse to leave, including through detention or entry bans. Negotiations with Parliament after the vote are likely to zero in on a small number of issues, including the extent of search powers that could be granted to authorities seeking out irregular migrants, observers say. It has proven divisive, as migration seems to always be for some reason. Some in the bloc, including France and Spain, have questioned the effectiveness of return centers, which the International Rescue Committee, IRC, an NGO, has described as legal black holes. Well, we're not responsible for the treatment that happens in these return centers because they're not even in the EU, right? That's what's worrying about it, right? You put a bunch of people that have already been rejected from entering your country into a place that isn't the place they came from because they're seeking asylum and refugee status for a reason, right? So you're not going to send them back where they came from. But you send them to a place that's not in the EU, and then what happens to them? Human trafficking? Ooh. Slave labor? Mm-hmm. Not their problem. Mm-hmm. It's not in the EU anymore. So that's why
children get stolen from them.
Yeah,
put
exactly.
into slavery. That's what that.
And that's why that's why this is being questioned, okay?
Bullshit.
You can
what it is.
It's a legal black hole.
Solving a problem, creates another problem.
Yeah. They will be located outside of EU territory where policymakers cannot guarantee that people's rights will be upheld, said IRC's Marta Weylander. A small group of countries, including Denmark, Austria, Greece, Germany, and the Netherlands, is nevertheless plowing ahead and exploring options to set them up, according to a diplomatic source. Proponents say the hubs can act as a deterrent. Yeah, you better not try to migrate here, or else we'll be treated like crap. They're already being treated like crap where they're coming from, dude. That's not a deterrent. Oh, well, I'm a slave in Romania. Wow. Well, Romania's in the EU. Anything of a country not in the EU. Well, I'm a slave over here in Moldova, but it's way better than where I ran away from, so it hasn't deterred me at all. Anyways, people are saying it could act like a deterrent and discourage migrants from attempting to reach Europe in the first place. They're not going to stop coming here. You can't try to create a great society where people are happy and content and living their life and say, hey, you other people, you can't come here and also have a good life because you look different and have a different religion. That's not going to work.
Don't you understand? The reason the French built the Statue of Liberty and then shipped it to the United States is they sure as hell didn't want the tired, poor people coming there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They wanted to build the United States. Get out of here! Go to that undeveloped land over there.
This is, for me, this is the perfect example of you having your cake and eating it too, right? Because people in Europe want to have a good life. They want to have, government support. They want to have welfare. They want to have protections, workers' rights, all these things. And guess what? So does everyone fucking else in the world. And then you're angry because people are coming here because they also want those things, and that's where it is. Right? Oh, I can get paid better. I can be treated right. I get better benefits if I work in the EU. I'm moving there. And then they get angry. No. If you want to have these things, you're going to have to, that's the other side of this coin, right? That's what you're going to do. You have a good country where people are happy. You're going to attract other people who want to live here. So, fuck this. It's not going to work. It's not, the argument that this is going to be a deterrent or discourage people from coming here is wishful thinking at best. Living in a complete total reality at worst. Just, I don't live there. I don't know where they're living, but that's not the reality I live in. That's never going to stop people. The decisive changes introduced by this regulation will make it possible to simply guarantee this straightforward principle. If you come to Europe illegally, rest assured that you will not stay here, said conservative French MEP Francois Xavier Bellamy. Put him on your list of anti-immigrant assholes. Critics instead point to the hurdles faced by similar projects. Britain abandoned a scheme to deport undocumented migrants to Rwanda, while Italian-run facilities to process migrants in Albania have faced legal challenges and a slow uptake. As in, people who use their eyes and see what else is going on around the world are going, guys, this isn't gonna fucking work. Why are we wasting money on this bullshit? A group of 70 rights groups warned in February that the reform would allow for ICE-style immigration enforcement, a reference to the heavy-handed practices used by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the United States under convicted felon Trump. European governments have sought a tougher stance amid a souring of public opinion on migration that has been fueled by far-right electoral gains across the continent, which has also been fueled by sensationalism. Guys, all your problems are due to migrants. Let's get angry at migrants together and make Brussels think that's a real problem. It's all fake, guys. You're being swindled by far-right people who are just using a buzzword to get your votes. That's all they're doing. Here's a buzzword. We're going to make up a problem that doesn't exist. We're going to use that problem to get your votes, and then we're going to become a fascist country and take over. That's what the far-right wants to do. That's what they've always wanted to do since they've existed. Specifically the far right. I'm not saying right-leaning people. I'm talking about the far right, the people on the extreme right over there. They're using you. With migrant arrivals down in 2025, focus in Brussels has turned to improving the repatriation system, which currently sees about 20% of people ordered to leave actually return to their country of origin. Probably the Syrians, because, you know, Syria did finally get rid of their dictator last year, and that was the original cause of the refugee crisis to begin with. All the people coming from Syria, and they're trying to repatriate them back into Syria, where they probably want to go, to be honest. There's not a lot of people who enjoy, you know, people who escape their countries. Not a lot of them enjoy having to, you know, learn a new language, learn a new culture, you know, don't have their access to the food they grew up eating and stuff. A lot of people don't want to do this, right? I hate this false argument, right, that migrants are here to replace us and they want to ruin our country and that's why they're coming. No, nobody wants to leave their country of origin for the most part. I want to do that, but I'm a exception to the rule. Most people don't want to leave the country where they come from. Most people don't want to leave their families. They don't want to leave where they grew up. They like comfort. They like staying where they are. They like knowing where things go and how everything's supposed to be. So this argument that, you know, immigrants are coming to steal your stuff and take your jobs and steal your house is just complete bullshit made up by people who want your votes. They don't want your brains. They just want your votes. Anyways, I'm done ranting about immigration. Give me your simile or metaphor.
My simile is that, here's a similar. Immigrants are similar to people. 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 eyes, 2 ears, walk upright, speak a language, capable of thought, ideas, dreams, aspirations, and joy. Unfortunately, they're just not really people. But anyway, as we're ragging on Europe, and we love to rag on Europe and the United States for being, oh, you just want to be hegemon, blah, blah, blah. The hardest countries to immigrate to, besides Liechtenstein, which you get to live there for 30 years, which is ridiculous, and it's the size of St. Mary's County, so it's not even really a country. The hardest countries that are real countries to immigrate to are China and Japan, okay? And those are declining populations, and they make it nearly impossible to immigrate to, right? Why? You have declining populations. Don't you want people to fill your jobs? China, Japan? I don't know.
No, we'll just work these 80-year-olds until they die on the job. That's what they want to do.
As we rag on the United States and Germany, the 2 easiest places to immigrate to. So that's just the facts.
Yeah.
Right? They're the ones that are going, yeah, we're easy to immigrate to, but we've got to have rules. So again, yeah, we can say this in a vacuum is terrible, but it's not in a vacuum. The rest of the world is not taking any refugees. Japan's not taking them. China's not.
They
China's
should.
More land than everybody. But Russia and the United States, right? And Canada.
Yeah.
China, the biggest landmass, 4th biggest landmass in the world, and they're losing population, should be just welcoming immigrants. But nah, we don't want them. Go home. Stay home. You
Our
don't look like us. Stay
homogeny.
home.
Yeah. You guys.
You don't look like us. Yeah. You're never going to get along in this society.
Your
Stay home.
religion
They're
is
allowed to be
different.
But we're the bad
Yeah,
guys.
it's fucked up.
in the United States.
Yeah.
I'm just sticking up for my country. That's all. Because these other countries are worse, far worse.
No. Japan
Hey, you
and
won't find
China
me
are
defending
very
the United
guilty of
States
this,
on
and
much.
anybody
But I
who's
will defend
immigrated
them
there
like
will tell you. Yeah, anybody who's immigrated there
They're
will
real
tell you.
assholes now.
Yeah,
Right.
immigrating to Japan is not an easy venture. You can't even get an apartment because they don't trust you. They
Is
think
everywhere.
you're not gonna pay rent and you're just gonna run away. So you can't get an apartment in Japan. You have to have a Japanese friend who gets the apartment for you, who signs it for you, to make sure that they have a Japanese person they can go to and blame for all your problems that you cause.
And
It's- yeah,
absolutely.
it's terrible.
And as far as Japan, if Japan's think it's going to cause crime, just understand that immigrants in America don't cause crime. It's a lower rate, right? So why worry about it? We're an experiment. We're an experiment, right? We're perfect. Nobody's fucking perfect, but we're an experiment that says, yeah, you can welcome people. We know they're going to get discriminated against. We already freaking know that, right? It goes without saying. Now, all immigrants are. It's just the way it is. But let's just have a little fucking pause here and just stop piling on a few countries that actually allow immigrants. Saudi Arabia don't, unless you're going to be a slave. They don't allow immigrants. They got a shitload of land. They got nothing but land. Land forever.
Probably don't have enough water,
Right.
to be fair.
No,
Anyways, thank you for your simile.
Yeah. Okay, my simile for your spin. Okay, so let's do my stories. I went off on a tangent there because that's the thing about immigration. It's like, yeah, we're the bad guys now, but it's been until recently there has never been a controversy in America about immigration. Both parties said immigrants make us better because they bring people that want to work. Right? A work ethic. That's what immigrants have. Yeah, we just demonize them because they're racist.
The worst thing about the anti-European or anti-immigrant sentiment in Europe is they're against refugees, right? Like I said, these are people running away because their country sucks ass, right? So it's just like
nobody wants a refugee camp in their town, right?
Yeah, so dumb. Anyways,
That's
our
true.
next
Not in my
segue
backyard.
is associate.
The NIMBYs are everywhere. Associate with we'll talk about Trump shredding documents right after Epstein died. Why the hell would you do that? We don't know, because they were shredded. This is the dailybeast.com. Annabella Roscaglione. I had to pause to read that one. Less than a week after disgraced financier, Jeffrey Epstein, that's what we're calling him now, was found dead in his New York
pedophile.
jail.
That's what we should be calling him.
Disgraced financier. I like how they mince words. The Daily Beast, man. If you're the Beast, you got to go disgraced creep.
Known creep.
Creepy little creep. The guy who suffered. Noted guy with a small penis. Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in New York jail.
What is it going to do? Sue you for defamation? He's not alive, I dare him to come back alive.
Victims are coming out. No, his victims are out saying this. It's like, yeah, he had an inferiority complex. That's why he liked little girls, because, big women make fun of him, right? That's the inferiority plot. It's a real thing of men, man. I don't even understand it. But whatever. Everybody's got to be something. I don't know. And this guy
Someone has to have an insecurity somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So he got money to make up for his insecurities about his own manliness, and he couldn't date women, apparently. The Justice Department less than a week after Epstein was found dead in New York jail, theoretically, Justice Department under the first Trump administration shredded huge amounts of paperwork. Again, if you shred paperwork, you must. I shredded document 1 of 2. I shredded document 2 of 2.
That's how you do it, bureaucratically, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is the actual thing you shredded. That way, they have accountability, because they have secure documents have disappeared and never been found again, and nobody knows what happened to them, right? This is Trump. This is the story of Trump. They don't talk about security. They're trying to make sure Russia doesn't blackmail them. Actually, Israel and Russia probably got the Epstein files. France probably. Everybody has the Epstein files except us, right? The Bureau of Prisons, after Actions team, went through the jail and shredded the files. According to a report drafted by an FBI official, his name has been redacted, so he's a real person and he works for the FBI, so we can interview him. The document is part of the tranche of files released by the Department of Justice earlier this year. It's taken time to go through all this. Redacted has never seen this amount of bag shredded documents coming out to be put in a dumpster at the rear gate of the MCC, the report said. Last week, Epstein hung himself and there's an ongoing investigation. There's a BOP after action team that come and they are supposed to review what happened, the report continued. There's a redacted document here that displays all this. It's got about 10 redactions in it. The report also indicated that at least one inmate was used to help dispose of the documents in a dumpster.
Really?
Redacted was bringing back bags of shredded papers and around 4 or 5 bags, and a caller brought them to the gate to throw them into the dumpster. Redacted told the caller that the after-action team is shredding huge amounts of paperwork, the report reads. Caller found it suspicious that an after-action team charged with investigating would be shredding huge amounts of paperwork with all the officials from the AIG, the FBI, and the BOP. I don't know what those other initials are. AIG, BOP is probably the Bureau of Prisons. Yeah, I think the Bureau of Prisons. In the building in the middle of the investigation. Those giving the instructions to redacted said, make sure you get that box too, the document said, referring to the Assistant Inspector General. The document noted that the dumpster was being picked up that Monday and said, if anyone cares about what was shredded, it needs to be picked up before Monday by 8 a.m. If anyone cares about what was shredded, it needs to be picked up before Monday by 8. That's when the service comes. So it's your chance to get up to the shredded documents and rescue them, and you can paste them back together. There's actual people that do this. Espionage is the thing. They take shredded documents and they throw them on the floor, and about 10 people get together and just try to glue them back together, tape them back together, legitimately other thing. The New York Post reported Saturday on newly released surveillance footage on 2 prison guards casually walking near Epstein's cell the night of his death. The guards can be seen pacing back and forth and talking on the phone instead of doing their mandatory 3 a.m. rounds. Really? You're walking near his cell, but not checking him. Wow. Both guards were later accused of falsifying records. They say that they checked on Epstein throughout the night, but criminal charges were later dropped. We're dropping charges all over the place. Probably got paid off too, and they probably disappeared. Are we going to be able to find these guards? Just speculating. Epstein is believed to have killed himself between 10 p.m. on August 9th in 2019, and when his body is found the next day around 6:30 a.m. That is it's an 8-hour block of nobody checking on him. He had been on suicide watch before being found. 8 hours, a long time to kill somebody. He was not murdered. He might not even be dead. Then Attorney General, he probably didn't commit suicide, and he's probably not even dead. That's my opinion. Then Attorney General William Barr, who's a criminal, said he was appalled to learn of Epstein's death. He's appalled to learn that there's documents and he had them shredded immediately, right? Let's do this back. Attorney General William Barr said appalled to learn of Epstein's death while in federal custody and said it raised serious questions that must be answered. Of course, he didn't investigate. He just ignored it. The Department of Justice at the time also directed New York City Police Department to stand down their investigation into Epstein just after his death. That's ridiculous. The DOJ just asked New Mexico. The DOJ also asked New Mexico DOJ at the time to suspend its investigation into Epstein's Zorro Ranch. That property is alleged to be a burial site for at least 2 foreign girls. The Trump administration has been
What you talked about last week, I believe, right?
Controversy for months.
Public
About
the ranch last week.
Files. Yep. And I don't know if they found anything yet. Well, I guess we'll get an update at some point. Picked up in a public demand for Epstein files released picked up in June after FBI and DOJ released a joint memo stating that Epstein did not possess a client list and that he died by suicide. Yeah, he didn't have a client list. Bullshit. Trump's MAGA base was enraged by the memo, viewing it as some sort of cover-up, as both FBI Director Kash Patel and his deputy at the time, Dan Bongino, that guy's got a lot to answer for. He's not in the government, by the way. He's just lying as a private citizen now. Has spent years peddling conspiracies about Epstein's death. And we know the story. They finally released the files, and they've been redacted, and they're still hiding shit, and they're still actively covering up shit. And any files, any reference to any interviews that mention Trump, all of them files have not been released, or they've been completely redacted. So they're covering it up. They continue to cover it up. And the cover-up's been going on for years and years and years and years and years. We don't know when it started, but the shredding of evidence, again, shredding official government documents is an illegal act unless you annotate the documents you shredded. That's all I got. Well, I got a story, but
okay. Well, I associate this with the whole thing that Trump got in trouble with after he lost the election, which was doing this kind of stuff, right? He took documents from the White House to Mar-a-Lago or some shit, and for some reason nobody freaked out. Nobody freaked out about like that as much as they freaked out about Hillary's emails.
Oh yeah, no! Don't forget Benghazi.
Nobody even
7
cared.
million hearings about Benghazi.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember where Benghazi even is anymore? No, they don't, because it was a red herring about nothing. I mean, people died, but there was no reason to investigate the Secretary of State over it. It was fucking stupid. Yeah. Again, we speaking of which, there's another story we might cover tomorrow. Trump has also been showing new classified documents just anybody. And a reporter saw him showing classified maps to a private citizen with no security clearance. So there's that. He's still doing that shit. Why would he not do it? He got away with it the first time. This is, again, immigration, great. Unfortunately, we're still being run by fascists. All right, next story. We've got... I gotta plug your little thing there. A little bit late. Yay! All right, there we go. Leave my screen up. There we go. Army. The Army is. I always had these discussions with people online. I said, "Hey, everybody! I bet you the recruitment jumps up once the Iran war starts." And a bunch of people online are like, "Recruitment's been up this whole time. Don't you know people want to join the Army?" Like, hey, whatever. If recruitment's up, why is the Army lowering their standards? So here's your story. To send Task and Purpose, that's the actual taskandpurpose.com has a story. Patty Nyberg, Army raises enlistment age to 42 and eases marijuana restrictions. Marijuana restrictions, the stupidest fucking thing. What are the marijuana? We can light up in boot camp now? Is that what it is?
I guess so.
Asking for a friend. I'm way over 42 and I already served my time. Anyway, a major update to Army recruiting regulations this week raises the maximum age to a recruit can join to 42 and removes a barrier to joining recruits with a single legal conviction of marijuana or drug paraphernalia possession. Is that even a thing anymore? Army's previous limit was 35. There is at 7 years. So it's like, I'm too old. Wait, I can join now. Anyway. Exceptions are occasionally made for the 35 rule. The higher age limit brings the Army in line with other service limits of the Navy at 41 and the Air Force at 42. Space Force, which is a thing I still can't. Again, the limits, it says in line with other services, Navy, Air Force. It doesn't mention the Marines. Marine, it's not going to take you if you're over 29. They still have it 29. Kate Kuzminski, who studies military recruiting for the Center for New American Security, told Task and Purpose. Army recruiting officials have noted in recent years the average age of recruits is increasing, with the officials telling reporters in 2024 the average recruit was 22 years and 4 months, and that was still going up. Yeah, can't find a job and you're in your late 20s? Army will take you. Hey, you can barely see? Army will take you. You can walk and you can talk. That's about it. Hey, that's all you need. Kuzminski said the change has positive and negatives, according to a report she authored for the Rand Corporation. Many older recruits score higher enlistment qualification tests than recruits who joined before 20. Those older recruits are also more likely to re-enlist and be promoted than their younger peers. However, older recruits are also less likely to graduate from basic training and at higher attrition rates. That's okay. You can't make it through Army basic training, man. I'm just saying, you're out of shape. You're just not doing it. I
have asthma, so I wouldn't make it through,
you get... not Army as the Marine Corps, man. I think it's only 7 weeks, right? They don't.
Yeah, but I can't run a mile.
I think you get a weekend
My
off.
throat closes up when I run a mile.
Checkers. I'm not. I wouldn't recommending it for you anyway. I wouldn't join the Army if it was. I don't care if they were giving. They'd have to really, really pay.
Giving you $1 billion.
Having worked with every branch of the military over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, the Army is.
The Army.
The Air Force. The Army has like the lowest. Like they'll just basically. Your hat's back on your head, your hands in your pockets, your boots aren't shined, you're in the Army. That's it. That's all I can say. And I just don't know what to say about it. It just seems like, they can take it or leave it, right? You give them an order and they're like, yeah, maybe. I'm just saying, I'm not a big fan. Again, I served with a lot of special forces guys, a lot of Rangers. Those guys are locked on. But the regular Army, man, they let a lot slide. And that's just my experience, having worked on a lot of Army bases. Compared to the Marine Corps, not the civilians. Of course, they're a lot more locked on than civilians in some respects. Back to the story, because basically said the change is positives, negatives. She authored many others. The older enlistment cap is the latest in the military's multi-billion-dollar overhaul in recruiting, launched after years of missed recruiting goals. As I said earlier, people keep lying to me and telling me that they've reached their recruiting goals. It's a complete lie. The Army, the largest branch of the military, failed to meet annual goals in 22 and 23. Changes in recent years, Army recruiting enterprise included installing a pre-boot camp prep course of recruits who did not initially meet fitness and academic standards, and creating a marketing schemes to move the Army's messaging post past the post-9/11 wars and appeal to Gen Z. God, these just not working hard enough. The changes also reflect the evolving Army workforce and more education and job skills. In 2024, the then Secretary Christine Wormuth announced that the service's goal is to have 1/3 of the entire force hold college degrees. That's actually pretty smart, because a lot of people get college degrees and oh man, I can't do anything with my life. Army, we'll promote you to E5 if you get a college degree. We might even make you an officer. Woo! I'll join the Army. That makes a lot of money, officer. For officers, the service has expanded its direct commissioning program. Professionals that have worked in the tech sector for years and have expertise in artificial intelligence and space in order to help bolster the Army's technical knowledge across its formations. Yeah, like me, I might just join if that was the deal, but I'm not 42. Colonel Angela Chipman, Chief Military Personnel, Accessions and Retention Division, they have a lot of divisions, said the enlistment age increase reflects the need for technical talent even in the enlisted force. And of course, they're going to talk about the Army chart changes specifications in its waiver process for drug offenses. According to regulation, recruits no longer need a waiver for single conviction of possession of marijuana. Good deal. All right, so that's kind of the short and sweet of it. Army lowering their standards, right? Lowering their standards. There's no way to get around it. A 42-year-old is not as physically fit as a 20-year-old, no matter how much he tries to fool himself. Let's have a association. Are you still there? Is this thing on? Hello?
Yes, I'm still here. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, this associates me with, I don't know what, I guess how the EU is starting to bolster up its army, right? But they're not lowering any of the, or I should say, hiring any of the age limits. I think the age limits have actually stayed the same, but they're trying, I think France was trying to test the compulsory limit, right? They're trying to test compulsory between 18 and 25 or something, but for the draft, but there's no draft. They're not planning of having a draft.
And
as of now.
Yeah, that's another thing Trump wants to do is have a draft. And I'm like, okay, draft your kid, Donnie. Let's have your kid. That's what everybody said. Why aren't the Trump serving? He has grandchildren, right? He has grandchildren. He has a grandchild that's a professional, not a good golfer, but she turned pro. Send her. She's in her 20s. Freaking send the Trumps. Send all of them. Send Jared Kushner's kids, right? Send them all.
If only we lived in that kind of place, in that kind of reality.
Yeah. In the old days, the kings and queens of England used to go to war with the freaking troops. They used to be out there. At least kings were useful, you know. They actually could ride a horse, you know. Anyway,
They did military training
that's
in their childhood.
Story. Time for a spin.
Limerick is our next segue.
Oh no! I gotta write a Limerick.
And I only have one story here.
Gotta write a Limerick. A Limerick.
This story is yet again coming out of the EU, more EU news, and this is about Snapchat, which is currently being targeted by the EU for not following any of its safety, and also porn sites failing to block minors from accessing them. This is by Kelvin Chan on AP News, coming out of London, which is interesting because we're talking about the European Union, but they're in London. The European Union regulators are investigating Snapchat over concerns the platform isn't doing enough to protect kids and exposing them to risks such as increased vulnerability to child predators or recruitment by criminals. The 27-nation EU Executive Commission said Thursday, today, the 26th of March, it was opening a formal investigation into Snapchat under the block sweeping rule book known as the Digital Service Act, which is why I can't read anything from Canada. It's designed to protect internet users. The European Commission said that Snapchat requires users to be at least 13 to use the platform, but it's suspected the company's age assurance system is insufficient at keeping them off. Regulators said the system is also not properly checking whether a user is under 17, which it needs to do in order to give them an age-appropriate experience. They also worry that age-checking systems aren't preventing adults from posing as minors. The Commission suspects Snapchat isn't doing enough to protect minors from being contacted by users with harmful intent, such as sexual exploitation or recruitment from criminal activities. Snapchat's system also aren't good enough to prevent underage users from seeing information about illegal or restricted products like drugs, vapes, or alcohol. Snapchat appears to have overlooked the DCA's high safety standards for all users, says Henna Verkunen, the Commission's Executive Vice President for Tech Sovereignty, Security, and Democracy. The investigation will scrutinize Snapchat's compliance with EU legislation, she said. Snapchat has fully cooperated with the Commission by engaging proactively, transparently, and working in good faith to meet the DSA's high safety standards, as we will continue to do so throughout this investigation, the company said in a statement. User safety and well-being is a top priority, and the platform is designed with privacy and safety built in from the start, including additional protections for teens, it said. The probe adds to pressures that social media companies are facing on both sides of the Atlantic over the welfare of young people. On Wednesday, the 25th of March, a California jury awarded millions of dollars in damages to a 20-year-old woman after deciding that Meta and YouTube designed their platform to hook young users without concern for their well-being. Snapchat parent company Snap Inc. and TikTok were also included in the lawsuit, but settled for an undisclosed sum before the trial. I want to read about this because they didn't give me enough details. A day earlier, a New Mexico jury handed a $375 million penalty to Meta after determining the company knowingly harmed children's mental health and concealed what it knew about child sexual exploitation on its platform. Meanwhile, the EU accused TikTok earlier in the year of breaching the DSA with addictive design, features that lead to compulsive use by children, and has been investigating Facebook and Instagram since 2024 over child protection shortcomings. Also today, on the 26th of March, Brussels accused 4 of the world's biggest pornographic websites, Pornhub, StripChat, XNXX, and Xvideos, of failing to protect children from adult content on their website following an investigation opened last year. The Digital Service Act requires internet companies and online platforms to do more to protect European users from things like harmful content and suspect merchandise, or risk hefty fines worth up to 6% of annual revenue. Pornhub, StripChat, XNXX, and Xvideos did not respond to requests for comment. In preliminary findings, regulators said the site operators failed to diligently identify and assess risks to children and didn't use effective measures to stop them from accessing their service. Children are accessing adult content at increasingly younger ages, and these platforms must be put in place robust, privacy-preserving, and effective measures to keep minors off the services, Bakunin said. The porn sites now have a chance to respond to the accusations before the commission issues a final decision. My opinion on this is just play porn in the classroom, in a controlled environment. Then you won't have to worry about people doing this. I'm just saying, the reason children, specifically ones going through puberty, even look up this stuff is because they're not getting enough information.
They shouldn't have smartphones and they shouldn't have access to it.
They have to go.
It should be locked.
Yeah, but either way, right? Like they're curious, and they're curious is not being sated by the adults in the room, right? Who are supposed to inform them in a more educational manner, right? They're not. So they look it up themselves. They, use their, none of this stuff is stopping you from using your older brother's, Pornhub account to access porn. Right? That hasn't been, you can still do that. Or your dad or something. Nothing's stopping you from doing that.
Identification. Some states have facial identification.
Well, you have to turn on your camera just to get on porn?
Yeah.
Pornhub?
Yep.
Okay, interesting. The point is, this is just a symptom.
Like porn,
for me.
You go to a porn site, it goes, hey, this state does this. You better put your face in front of us or we're not going to let you.
For me, the issues with this, which I understand there's the other issue they're talking about is just children clicking a link or something and getting put onto Pornhub and then being shocked or whatever. But there's another side of this issue, which is children being curious and not being given the respect to learn about those things, so they do it in their own time, which is dangerous. And I'm not saying that's not dangerous to do, right? But that's just, for me, that's a half of a symptom of this problem, right? Why are children getting on porn sites? Because they're curious, and there needs to be an adult to do it with them or something, instead of them doing it, because they feel shame or whatever. Anyways, we'll not talk about that topic too much. Good morning, Z. Thank you for stopping by for your daily elixir. And that's the end of my story on Snapchat being in trouble in the EU.
Here's my limerick. My limerick about being misrepresented on Snapchat. This limerick goes like, this is actually from the point of view of a Trump supporter. There you go. I posted my image on Snapchat. It was me standing wearing my red hat. But hackers interfered. Now I just look weird. Now I appear naked and extremely fat. Another limerick. I think I enjoyed that.
You wrote two?
No, if you have another story, I'll have another limerick. So.
Nope, that's my only story. It's Thursday, so I really only want to do one story.
Write a limerick. Well, I'll just write one in my spare time. Okay, we'll get to the board. We got the dry erase board out again because we lost without it. If I look lost, it's because I didn't have my dry erase board.
All right, I'm gonna write you in haiku about your names.
Oh boy.
Your Thursday's 13 list. Get hyped,
Your
everyone, for this list.
Key and Peele right? If you watch Key and Peele at all, this is their this is one of their famous comedy skits, and it was the all-star team where everybody's got the names just get weirder and weirder, and of course the guy at the very end is a normal name, as we call it normal. And the our NFL draft coming up in 4 weeks, starts on a Thursday. It lasts 3 or 4, I think a 3 day. Yeah, Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday deal nowadays. 3-day deal. First day is the first round, second day is the second and third, and the rest of it is on Saturday. So that's how that goes. You have 7 rounds. And every year we have the name list. I didn't make one for the last 5 or 6 years, but I love looking up names and finding out, the whole who's going to be on my team. And I hope my team drafts these guys because I love hearing announcers try to pronounce their names. So we're going to do it by position. There's more than 13 positions, but we're going to group them. We're going to group them by position. Our first position group is quarterback. And we had names like Maverick McIver. Hey, if I got a quarterback, his name needs to be Maverick McIver. That kid was born to be a quarterback. That's an actual name, Maverick McIver, but that's not our name. He's not our all-star. He is not our all-star. That's how good this list is. Baron Morton, Behren Morton, also not the winner. Kyron Droons, not the winner. Caden Salter is not the winner. Caleb Blaha is not the winner, but our winner is the quarterback for Rutgers, and he's number 291st ranked prospect according to Pro Football Focus, and his name is Ethan Kilamanis. I think I said that right. Kilakmanis, and he's Greek. That's a Greek name, but a great name. And again, it's a great name because, again, the only reason it's great, and the main reason it's great.
If somebody's calling you on the phone, huh? Rude.
At least it was in reach. Of course, he has a Greek name, but it's a great name. The reason it's great is because college football announcers are having to pronounce it, not professionals are going to have to announce it. So that's our quarterback, our starting quarterback, Ethan Kilakmanis. Ethan Kilakmanis is our quarterback. And these names do not get easier to pronounce, by the way. Our second position is halfback. And again, halfback did not have the real solidly hard names, right? You had Al J Henderson. Henderson's a normal name. Didn't quite qualify. L-E-apostrophe-V-O-N, Lebeon Moss. Not really that funny. Rasul, R-A-H-S-U-L, Rasul Fazon. And Jadarian Price. That's just for his first name, Jadarian Price. All these are kind of actually normal names nowadays. Jadarian Price. But we had to pick Jadarian Price's teammate at Notre Dame, who was actually probably the best player in the entire draft this year. And it's not because of his name, it's the way he spells it. Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah, Jeremiah. Jeremiah. There you go. Jeremiah Love. Notre Dame running back, probably the best player in the draft, probably going to be rookie of the year, probably going to be a superstar. But anyway, great name. Our next position is fullback. Not a lot of teams have fullbacks, but I ran out of positions, right? So I just decided, let's throw fullback in there. The names I came up with in the top 500, I had to go beyond the top 500 for this name. I had to go to another source. Natali Fragioni is one of the names for fullbacks. Hayden Large, just his last name alone is great. Hayden Large. If you're a fullback, it helps to be large. But the winner is Marion Rabowski. Who is a fullback for Western Michigan. Probably not going to get drafted, but he's draft eligible, and he's got a great name. So hopefully he does get drafted. He's not even rated by Pro Football Focus, but he has a great name. So he's out of our list because there weren't enough fullbacks that really had great names. Marion, M-A-R-E-Y-O-H-N. Rabowski, H-R-A-B-O-W-S-K. Rabowski's a little bit easier to pronounce, I guess, if you just ignore the H. Then we go to tight ends. Tight ends, we had great names for tight ends like Bauer Sharp, B-A-U-E-R, that's the first name, Bauer Sharp, Rohan Jones, Khalil Dinkins, Amari Niblack, Seydou Tor, T-A-O-R-E, Seydou, Kenyon Sadiq, who's actually the number one rated tight end in the draft. Kenyon Sadiq didn't make the cut, but another tight end who's currently ranked number 418, he has a Haitian name. I had to look up this name. It's from Haiti. That's why his name comes from. Arizona State tight end, Chamon Mateer. It's a great sounding name. Chamon Mateer sounds like something you could eat for lunch, actually. I want some Chamon Mateer, man. It sounds good. So that's our tight end. We're getting through this list. We're almost done with the offense. We're going to go to the interior line. The interior line, your guards, your centers. We have names such as J-Andre Reed. That's J apostrophe Andre Reed. We have Ka apostrophe Enna Dacambra. We have Olia Vengalon. That's an African name, I'm pretty sure. Weylin, W-E-Y-L-I-N Wylan Lapawau, that is a Samoan name. Babiki Nawaro, I'm pretty sure is a Nigerian name. And Izavian Miller is another. Izavian, Izavion. What could possibly be Izavian Miller? Nobody but Armaj Reed Adams. That's right, Armaj. ARMAJ Reed Adams. So he's got the hyphenated first name, hyphenated last name. That's why he wins. Armaj Reed Adams, Texas A&M, currently ranked as the number 185 prospect. So he is going to get drafted, I would predict. Now the exterior offensive line, the offensive tackles, not the interior, but the offensive tackles on our list. We have a great name here, Jennings Dunker, right? That's a basketball name, or Dunker, but his name is Jennings, but it starts with a G, not a J, right? Jennings with a J, Dunker, great name. Demetrius Crowner, awesome name, but he's not the winner. Isaiah World, the guy's name is Isaiah World. His last name is World. It's his world, and we all live in it. But our winner is, and he is from, geez, I guess where are you from? Anyway, oh, he's from Samoa, American Samoa. Fa'alili Famo. Fa'alili Famo. Say that. Did you see it? Did you see that word? Pronounce it. F-A apostrophe A-L-I-L-I F-A apostrophe A-M-O-E. Fa'alali Famo is one of the... He might get drafted. I hope he gets drafted. He is currently ranked 254th. There's only 256 picks. So he might get drafted, might not get drafted. But hey, all name team, he'll never be removed from that. Wide receiver is usually it's a gold mine for names, usually. Gold mines. Wide receivers are usually your prima donnas on a team, right? Like, I scored a touchdown. I'm special. I caught a pass. I'm special. You know, those guys. Not a big list though, but we have some. We have Jacoby, J-A apostrophe K-O-B-I, Jacoby. Not the thing you would say. Jacoby Lane. I think this is Kadid Wetjet. His last name is Wetjet. We don't even care about his last name. Wetjet's a great name. Ja Mori, that's J-A apostrophe M-O-R-I, Macklin. And Romello Brinson. I've seen Romello. I don't think I've ever seen that name before, but Romello Brinson's a great name. But they did not make it. They were not our all-team name winner. Our all-team winner is Dazon Stribling. Yeah, or Stribling. Dazon Stribling from Ole Miss. And he is a 112th rated player. So he's going to get drafted. Dazon Stribling. Ole Miss is our winner. B-A apostrophe Z-H-N. You just lose every letter in the alphabet, can we? Let's do it. I think we definitely used everything, every letter in this list. Pretty sure there's Q's. Our next position, we're getting to the end. Now we're going to the defense. We're finally done with the offense. Our last six are going to be defense and special teams. We have edge rushers, one of your higher paid positions for a person has basically one skill, and it's rushing the passer. And the best names of this are people like Nadami Tucker, or Tyreek Sapp, or Jay Sean Barham, and another Romello Height. If you're going to have Romello as a first name, you better have Romello Height. Otherwise, people are like, well, you're not tall enough to be Romello. You need to have Romello Height. Anyway, that's a joke. Not really a joke. And Dennis Sutton. So it's Danny and D-A-N-I and Keldrick Falk. Keldrick Falk's actually quite high rated, but our edge is going to be from Boston College, and his name is Quintavious Hutchins. That's right, Quintavious Hutchins, Boston College. Edge rusher, and he is number 192 on the Pro Football Focus list, which means he's probably going to get drafted by your team as a Quintavious. I want a Quintavious on my team. You're not really a team unless you have a Quintavious.
I didn't know you had a team.
Everybody's got a team. Defensive tackle, or interior lineman, if you want to call him. If you want to call him a nose tackle, the big fat guy in the middle. Legitimately, somebody just sits there, try and move me. You can't do it. Those guys. So they always have names that you can make fun of, but not their face. One of your favorites is Dominique Orange, right? And his nickname, I think, is the Juice, right? Or something like that. I don't know. Dominique Orange, who's a big guy in the middle. And he is not the name. And the other great name for defensive tackle is Dante Corleone. Oh, this is... How good can a name be to beat out Dante Corleone? To me, that would have won the list. Yeah. Dante Corleone. Wow. I hope my team drafts Dante Corleone. It's actually quite high rated, but the best name, only because it is a Z and the X at the beginning of it, is Xavier Harris. Xavier Harris, I can't think of no way to pronounce X and a Z except Z, right? Xavier Harris. So there you go. ZXAVIAN. Thanks, Mom. That's what Xavier said his whole life, right? ZX at the start of my name. Every teacher in the world is like, really? Anyway. Xavier Harris from Ole Miss. He's going to get drafted, folks. He's number 119, so he is going to be an NFL player, at least for 4 years. Number 10 is our linebackers. We have linebackers. We're almost done with the defense. We're almost done with the team. Just be patient. Our linebackers, we only had one. I went through a whole list of linebackers, only had one list that even qualified. It's kind of weak. I apologize for that. But it rolls off the tongue. And his name is, he plays for Texas A&M. He's rated 145. And his name is Torian York, which is a great name. It's just a great name. Torian York.
A Torian is a fantasy
York.
race. It's a fantasy race. And it's so funny.
His mom was a fan, or his dad, or both of them, right? The Torian York. It just sounds like something completely different than a name, doesn't it? Cornerbacks. This is, to me, this is the winner. The hands down winner is the cornerback. Cornerbacks is a very strong category, by the way. We had D'Angelo Pons. We had Trey Dan Stukes, and Kyron Drunes need to be on the same team. That's all I got to say about that. If Trey Dan Stukes and Kyron Drunes are on the same team, my life is complete. Another great one. Actually, these are actually pretty good player. Mansour Delane. Mansour, Monsoor. I hope nobody calls him Mansour, right? It's a horrible thing to call somebody. But Mansour Delane, actually one of your top cornerbacks. Davison is this guy's first name. His last name, though, is Igbenausu. So Davison Igbenausu. That's another one. That's great. Hezekiah Masses. What a great name. And Jadon Kanadi. But none of those stood up to the number one. I know it's the number 11. We're just rating these by position. To me, the best name on this list, Ephesians Prize Stock. And if your name is Ephesians Prize Stock, you need to be drafted into the NFL because you're the 162nd player in I hope Ephesians Prize Stock is on my team. I love this name. This is the best name I've heard in a long time. Hands down winner for me. That's not great. Then we go into the other positions. There are only two more skill positions that you call them left, and that is a safety, which is basically the guy at the back of the defense trying to stop touchdowns. We had only three that qualified. One was Zachy, that's right, Zakee, Zachy Wheatley, and Shyheim Brown, Shyheim Brown.
It's almost like Cheyenne.
For the safety category, the safety category was Genesis Smith, right? Genesis Smith, and he's from Auburn, goes to college at Auburn. He's a 98th rated player, which means he's a pretty highly rated safety. Safeties tend not to get rated that high. But he's rated the 98th best player in the Genesis Smith, I guess. In the beginning, we'll see how good he is, right? Anyway, and our last category is the lowly kicker. You know, the guy that takes all the abuse when he misses and gets all the acclaim when he hits, right? That poor bastard is usually not even a football player. He's a soccer player, right? And I went to all the names, and there's only one good name that is really good for a kicker, and it's Trey Smack. Trey Smack.
Oh, yeah. Smack that ball.
Trey Smack. That's right. He's the 443rd rated player, and he goes to the University of Florida. He's a Gator. Trey Smack. And again, if you're a kicker, you need to be able to talk smack because it's the only thing you can really do other than kick. So you got to be like, even I would like to see him talk smack even when he misses. That's what I want to see. That's right, I missed. So Trey Smack is the winner. That's everything for my Thursday 13's list.
Woohoo! Well, I made 4 haikus for this. That's how long that list was.
Too much time. Holy smoke.
So our first haiku is: young dreams on the stage, whispers of names echo loud, hope in every pick. Yay! Names in foreign scripts, whispers of the gridiron, dreams in every glyph.
Right on. Glyph.
Samoan pride ascends, dreams carved in the turf of hope, future star emerge. There's a lot of Samoans in there. Oh, yeah. And then in the bold end zone, X's grit, Y's heart align, and Z's spirit burn bright. Because everyone has a lot of X, Y's, and Z's in their names. Way more than you would think.
Right. I think these parents just play a lot of Scrabble, right? Oh. That's a 97-point name you got there, kid.
I mean, you put a Y in my name and 2 L's, which is not a normal spelling. So.
Told them to put a Y in Robin's name, but they didn't. Well, she can change it.
Y with Robin in there. A Y within Robin's name would have been evil Robin. That's what they say. If you have a Y, you're evil. Oh, is that right? Yeah. If you're a Robin with a Y, you're evil. Yeah. Well, that's not cool. Actually, there's a famous artist called Robin with a Y. So.
Yeah. What about Robin Hood? What about Batman and Robin? Okay, let's I'm
rolling it again because I rolled accurate metaphor and simile again.
Yeah, don't get me a limerick. I've already had that.
I might have given you a limerick, or it's alliteration headline. Let's go with alliteration headline.
A3. Almost done.
This is my news coming out of culture. We're going to talk about finding the bones of a real-life person who is the inspiration for the Three Musketeers. Let me find the story. It's somewhere. Here it is. This is on Euronews Culture by Serge Duchesne with AFP. The Gascon nobleman was the inspiration for Alexandre Dumas's 19th century hero in The Three Musketeers, a character who is now known to the world over thanks to the novel and its many film adaptations. A skeleton that could be that of D'Artagnan, sorry for my French, a French soldier who inspired the novel The Three Musketeers, has been discovered in a church in a Dutch city, where he died several centuries ago. According to local media, the skeleton was unearthed in Maastricht. I was just there in December, that's crazy. In the nave of a modern church whose origin dates back to at least the 13th century. The bones were found during repair work following the partial collapse of the floor in February, explains L1 News source in French, a media outlet in the province of Limburg, which is where Maastricht is located. Charles de Batz de Castelmore, known as D'Artagnan, the famous musketeer of the King Louis XIII and Louis XIV, devoted his life to serving the French crown. Back then, the Netherlands was actually a French duchy, so it was under the control of the French crown. The Gascon nobleman was the inspiration for the Alexandre Dumas 19th century hero in The Three Musketeers, a character who is now world famous thanks to the novel and its many film adaptations. The Autognon was born between 1611 and 1615 at the Chateau de Castelmore near Lupiach in Gascony in the present-day department of Gers, and killed in Maastricht during the siege of that city on the 25th of June 1673 during the Dutch War. His burial site has remained a mystery ever since. Little is known about the real de Autognon. All that exists of his is a portrait, the authenticity of which is not guaranteed, in apocryphal memoirs published in 1700, 20 years after his death. On the other hand, his literary biography is more than abundant, with, above all, Alexandre Dumas' three novels, The Three Musketeers, 20 years after, and the Vicomte of Bragelonne. On the big and small screens, he has been played by more than 30 actors, including Douglas Fairbanks, Max Linder, Gene Kelly, Jean-Paul Belmondo, Jean Marais, Jean-Pierre Cassel, Philippe Noiret, Gabriel Breen, Gerard Depardieu, and Russian Mikhail Byorsky. A French coin was discovered near the skeleton in Maastricht, according to Deacon Jos Valke, who was present at the first excavation. What's more is the location of the grave indicates that it was an important person. The skeleton was found where the altar used to stand, and only royalty or other important figures were buried under an altar at that time, he told L1 News. The skeleton had been removed from the church and is now at the Archaeological Institute in Deventer, in the east of the Netherlands, the news provider reported. A DNA sample was taken from the skeleton on the 13th of March and is currently being analyzed in a laboratory in Munich. Archaeologist Wim Dijkman has been searching for the Autogon's remains for 28 years. I'm always very careful. I'm a scientist, but I'm hopeful, he told L1 News. So there you go. A skeleton found under the altar. I feel like they should be start searching all these altars to find all these skeletons. But the mythical man that was one of the Three Musketeers found in a Dutch city. Very cool. And that's my story. I think you're muted if you're talking.
Sorry, I was coughing. I had to mute myself. All right. Yeah. So having trouble with these words to find with the T. I decided to go with T for some stupid reason. Top Trinity team turned up. That's all I got. Taylor of Trinity team. Trinity.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think he was the leader. He was the leader for sure. The main guy. The Musketeers.
Works for me. Top of Trinity team turned up. Yeah. Kind of wanted a limerick again. Might have been easier. All right.
Let's roll the segue for our last story in this day in history.
All right. Whip through this and we'll be almost done. Get on with our lives.
I'm going to give you some mixed metaphors.
Ooh, mixed metaphors. We're not really going way back in history today. We're only going back to 1812. So.
Oh, damn.
The War of 1812, maybe. No, not even the War of 1812. But 1812 in this date, the word gerrymander came into use.
Damn, we've been doing it that long, huh?
In opposition to the redrawing of districts to favor incumbents in an upcoming election, the Boston Globe published a satiric cartoon that graphically transformed the districts into a fabulous animal, the gerrymander. The term gerrymander best entered into the American lexicon. So it just looked like a big long snake. He's like, oh, why is this district this funny shaped? 1827, German composer Ludwig van Beethoven died of cirrhosis of the liver at the age of 56. Let's say he probably had a drinking problem. Maybe he had alcohol poisoning even, among other things, being deaf. Another thing. 1874, Robert Frost was born. Happy birthday, Robert Frost. Much admired for his depictions of rural New England life and his realistic verse and portraying ordinary people. Was born in San Francisco. 1885, the first clash in the Northwest Rebellion led by Louis Ryle took place in Duck Lake, Saskatchewan. I don't know what that is.
Duck Lake!
Canadian. Duck Lake. There's probably a million Duck Lakes in Canada, right? The first clash of the Northwest Rebellion. I'm not sure what that was, but it led to something. I'm not sure. It happened in Saskatchewan when it was way out in the middle of nowhere. 1911, American dramatist Tennessee Williams was born in Columbus, Mississippi. His plays reveal a world of human fascination, frustration, with which sex and violence underlie an atmosphere of romantic gentility. So happy birthday to Tennessee Williams.
Is that what he sounded like? Why did you say it like that?
I was sounding like a drama critic of the 1930s. Or something.
Oh, okay.
Somebody who was critiquing his plays, right? Head on a hot tin roof was, hey, where sex and violence underlie an atmosphere of romantic gentility. Anyway, that's what he would say, the critic. Because, that's how they talk. 1927, Mille Miglia, the famed automobile race across Italy, was inaugurated. The Mille Miglia. So that is turning 99 today. Happy birthday to racing cars. So they have one today. I hope you're in Italy. Let's go. I'm ready to race a car. 1930, Sandra Day O'Connor was born in your birthplace, El Paso, Texas. That's right. The first woman to become U.S. Supreme Court Justice, and she screwed up royally when she appointed George W. Bush president. She should have gone the other way. It's right there in front of you, the Constitution. You chose to ignore the Constitution. Way to go, idiot. 1921, British evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins was born in Nairobi, Kenya. Evolutionary biologist, and if you want to know your more famous atheists in the world, Richard Dawkins is always telling people, hey, your religion's stupid. Anyway, who maintained that genes are the driving force of evolution and advocated atheism. He advocated atheism, which is not even true. He didn't advocate atheism. He said, I'm an atheist. He didn't say, you got to be an atheist. He said, I'm an atheist. So I'm just saying, advocating atheism is not a thing. It's just a personal belief. We don't have a religion. Atheism is not a belief. It's an unbelief. Thank you. Thank you for your time. 1944, American pop singer and actress Diana Ross was born. She's still around to this day. So she's going to be, 82 today. Achieved international stardom, first leader of the vocal group The Supremes, and later solo artist. Someday we'll be together. That was their last hit as The Supremes. 1971.
Rest in peace, I guess.
League. Well, some of them are dead. Mary Wilson's gone. But Diana's still with us. 1971, members of the Awami League set up a government in exile in what today is Calcutta, or Calcutta, as they used to call it back in the day. Pronounced virtually the same, just spelled different. And declared Bangladesh an independent state. And they're still having trouble in Bangladesh, trying to figure out what the hell they're doing. That was 1971, and famously, our good friend George Harrison held a concert in 1971, which was the first benefit concert called Concert with Bangladesh, featuring Bob Dylan, Ravi Shankar, and a whole bunch of, Eric Clapton. Great concert. If you want to check out a concert video, Concert for Bangladesh is a good place to start. 1979, historic peace treaty between Israel and Egypt, agreed to by Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat, based on the Camp David Accords, mediated by U.S. President Jimmy Carter in September 1978, was signed. So we had peace in the Middle East. It's lasted. No, wait. Okay. 1992, heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson was sentenced to 6 years in prison following a rape conviction in Indianapolis, Indiana. He did his time. And we're willing to let bygones be bygones. I'm not a really anti-Mike Tyson person, but he's a violent man. And a violent man do violent things. And he's a boxer. And he did 6 years that a lot of people wouldn't have done. A lot of people would not have got 6 years. They got no years. They would have plea bargained it down. Right? No, Mike Tyson did his time. So let's hats off for doing your time, Mike. 1997, police discovered the bodies of 39 members of Heaven's Gate. Oh boy, this was a nut job group. You don't remember this. This happened in your lifetime. There was a comet, right? There was a comet in the sky you could see.
Oh, I've heard about this. I've heard about this. Yep, Heaven's Gate, yeah.
You were only 3. I know you saw it because you're like, Dad. I mean, you and Robin both saw it. I may not remember it, but it was the brightest thing in the sky in 1997, except for the moon. It might even been brighter than the moon. Anyway, these idiots, and we can call them that because they're not around anymore. The bodies of 39 members of Heaven's Gate, American religious group founded by a belief that unidentified flying objects, they had died by suicide, and belief that a spaceship was arriving to take them to a better place. And that spaceship was called the Hale-Bopp Comet. And this references in this article, but I remember this clearly. They wore Nike tennis shoes and purple Nikes. I mean, purple Nikes, they dressed in purple. They were clearly insane. And again, if you're checking out, I guess you want to check out in style. That's what they did. In 2000, Vladimir Putin was elected president of Russia for the first time, and Russia's been a shithole ever since. Way to go, Russia. You screwed up. 2005, 16 years after being canceled, the BBC sci-fi series Doctor Who returned to television with a new episode. Crystal Eccleston appearing in the title role. And I remember this as like, wow, Doctor Who. I remember watching that on PBS when I was a kid. And it was the hokiest science fiction. It was just hokey. It was like hokey. It seemed like stage props from grade school type hokey.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
for sure.
Oh man, BBC work on their special effects. But they got better. By 2005, they were really selling it in the Daleks and everything.
It also got cheaper.
Way more.
It got cheaper to do that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, the older Doctor Who, I recommend watching it. I don't even know if it was, I used to watch it on PBS because it came on before Monty Python. So that's what I watched on PBS, Monty Python. It was on Saturday night at 8 o'clock at my local station. And then Saturday Night Live was on later that day. Saturday was the day for comedy. Plus you had Carol Burnett and you had all them other things. But anyway, I think it was Saturday. I digress. 2011, American Democratic politician Geraldine Ferraro died at the age of 75. She was the first woman to be nominated by a major party for vice president. Unfortunately, the American people had been conned into thinking Reagan was a good president, and then they overwhelmingly voted for that clown. So, yeah, they were in the middle of destroying the country, and all the voters got fooled into voting for them because they were stupid. 1752 is our feature event. What happened in 17th foot? This is a really ridiculous thing. England, you do some weird shit, and this is one of them. Britain enacts the Murder Act. On this day in 1752, Great Britain enacted a Murder Act, a law that imposed harsh punishments for those convicted of murder, such as allowing murderers' bodies to be dissected post-mortem, which is why lawmakers hoped that this would help meet surgeons' need for cadavers, as body snatching, sometimes orchestrated by murderous profit, was an illicit practice often used to acquire corpses. However, the act was ultimately unsuccessful. In the 1832 Anatomy Act repealed most of the main clauses of the Murder Act. We can go back to our story about Ben Franklin when he lived in England for a little while, right? He was collecting bodies. The guy he was living with was collecting bodies. We did that story a couple years ago. So yeah, it would rob graves to do their anatomy. A lot of anatomy information came from grave robbing. It's just a fact. Anyway, our feature box, Nancy Pelosi, the first woman Speaker of the House of Representatives. She's retiring this year at the age of 86. Everybody over 80, take a hit. It might be time to pack it in. Go home, play golf, play canasta, whatever the hell you do with your spare time. She was born in Baltimore, Maryland, but she represents a district in San Francisco. She is 86 today. Happy birthday to Nancy Pelosi, the actual last effective Speaker of the House. She was very effective. She got shit done. Happy birthday, Nancy Pelosi. Our national day. Their birthday today. Hold on a second. I just minimized everything. Policy. Joseph Campbell, American author born in 1904. Pierre Boulez, French composer and conductor, born in 1925. Oh, wow. Speaking of going to space, it's Leonard Nimoy's birthday. Mr. Spock. If he was around today, he would be 95. Leonard Nimoy's birthday would be 95. We did Richard Dawkins. Larry Page, American computer scientist and entrepreneur, born in 1973. It's his birthday. Happy birthday to that guy. our national days today. It's National Equal Pay Day. Ha ha ha. That's a funny thing. Not actually a thing. Epilepsy Awareness Day. Yes, epilepsy affects a lot of people. They have seizures. There's some really bad seizures sometimes. It's a brain melt. What is it? Brain? There's a special name for that type of thing. I just can't remember.
It's a brain.
It's a brain whatever. A brain dysfunction. That's it. Part of your brain is not
disorder.
The right chemicals. Disorder. There you go. Disorder. Like my brain is disordered right now. It's National Nougat Day. If you eat a Snickers bar, it's got nougat. That's it stuff. Or Milky Way. That's got nougat. And it's National Spinach Day. National Spinach Day. So it's everything. There's your mispronunciation, your haikus, your limericks, your lists for Thursday, March 26, 2026 on Before Nougat and Spinach.
That's a terrible combination, actually. I love spinach, though. I love spinach. I never hated spinach.
Nougat for dessert.
Nougat spinach and nougat for dessert. Yeah.
Have a Snickers bar later. Nougat.
Also, good morning, Demigorge. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope you're having a good Thursday. For my mixed
nougat is.
What is nougat made out of? That's a great question. Is it just made out of sugar?
No, it's some kind of goop. It's goop. It's officially goop.
It's just goop.
Made by whipping egg whites together and adding honey or sugar, roasted nuts, and sometimes candy fruit.
There you go.
Nougat has been a sweet treat since ancient Rome. There you go. Romans came up. Blame them
some
for it.
Ancient.
There you go.
Like a Roman in a candy store, you could say.
There you go. It's candy bar goop. Candy bar goop. It's the official name for it.
They're walking on egg yolks in the nougat field. All right, that's my mixed metaphor for you.
That's it.
And
right on.
There are no international days today on the UN. There is still week of solidarity with people struggling against racism, racial discrimination, like those poor immigrants who are just trying to escape their shitty country. I'm sure that's why we even care, because they're racially discriminating against them, I'm sure. So solidarity with those guys. We will see you tomorrow from the Friday News Dump. This has been Allison here from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the US. Don't forget to subscribe to the Before Coffee podcast channel on YouTube. We need more subscribers on there so that more people can see our show. So we appreciate everyone who pushes us through the algorithm. And yes, thank you everyone who's already following and subscribed and supporting us on Patreon, our Before Coffee supporters. And here is our mic drop moment.
No, it's an all-star game.
Oh, sorry, all-star.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Stats.
But this is what you're referencing with your list. This is your foundation
as we get ready
that
to
you
watch
base
some
your
of the
list
best college players in the nation showcase
broke
their
the
skills
ground for
in a
this. They were
classic showdown
trailblazers of
between
announcing
East and West.
All-star team.
And there really are some characters on this year's squads, aren't there, Jeff?
That's right, Dave. It does seem like the most flamboyant personalities came to the forefront, and
Totally
they
fake
are
announcers,
here.
by the way.
Let's meet the players
Of
from
course,
the East.
they're actors, everyone.
DeMarcus Williams, University of Georgia.
Thank you.
TJ Jackson, Wayne State University.
Tavarius Smith-King, Merrimack College.
Kyle Royal, Smoochie Wallace. University
Smoochie
of Miami.
Wallace.
Desquarius Green Jr., University of Notre Dame.
Desquarius.
Ibrahim
Aquarius.
Moises, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga.
Jack Marius Tack-Theratrix, Michigan State University.
Their tricks.
The Isaiah T. Billings Clyde, Coastal Carolina University.
Billings
The Jasper
Clyde.
Probencrux III, South Carolina State University.
Lee Oz Maxwell Jr.
That guy looks like he's gonna kill someone.
Javaris and Lamar, University of Middle Tennessee.
Devoyne Showerhandle, University of Southern Mississippi.
Hingle McCringleberry, Penn State University.
Tingle
Carpetron
McCringleberry.
Duke Marriott, Florida Atlantic University.
Dinklage Morgoon, University of South Florida.
Xmas Jackson Flaxen Waxen, California, University of Pennsylvania.
Jackson, Flaxen, Waxen.
We're going to be looking for big plays all game long from Tyrol Smoochie Wallace.
And let's not forget the tight ends, Ibrahim Moises and Hingle McCringleberry. They've both had amazing seasons.
That's right, Jeff. Now let's meet the players from the West.
Vegetarian Jefferson, Texas A&M.
The Gloucester Dunkinchud, University of Wisconsin.
Swarthampton L. Gooding Splat, Saskatchewan
Splat.
University.
Oh, you don't want
Quatchvo,
you don't want
San Jose
Splat on your
State
team.
University.
Osmond Buckshank, Stanford University.
These are 12 washing beard. Jones College.
Washing beard.
Shakira
He doesn't
Kwan
have a
TGIF
beard.
Carter, University of Northern Arizona.
X-Wayne at Aliciousness, Missouri Western State University.
Sequester Grundleplith MD, Adams
MD.
State.
He's a doctor.
Scores Velociraptor Malloy,
that.
South Dakota State
He's
University.
born a doctor.
TJAJ / and support the
Velociraptor.
5th Albion College.
Nobody
San
named
Diego
that this
State
year.
University.
Nobody
Donkey
named that this year.
Teeth, Boise State
Doggy
University.
teeth.
Torque. Lewis, Nevada State
Torque
Penitentiary.
Lewis.
The player formerly known
Penitentiary.
as Mouse Cop, University
Mouse
of
Cop.
Missouri, Columbia.
That's a Prince
Dan
jab.
Smith.
That's a jab at
BYU.
Prince. If he did that.
Oh my God, Dan Smith, that guy. Dan
So
Smith.
good.
Hell
Such a
yeah.
normal name.
Dan Smith.
Yeah.
He had to be the kicker, right? Just like my last guy. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels: Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.